don't know how old I am. Maybe I can be 60, 35, 40, whatever. I don't know. And the reason that I don't know my own birthday because I born in a very, very small village on the border of India and Nepal, and that village is undocumented, means like you couldn't find that in any map or any books, anywhere. Like if you Google it, you couldn't find it. So the people who take birth on that village, their birth is also not recorded. So that's the reason that I don't know how old I am. When I think back of that small village, which is, the language is spoken by only 2,000 people, and I see like the history of that village and how unique the people were connected to the earth and to their culture and the wisdom. Something happened in my grandfather generation that cooperation took over and it started to destroy all the wisdoms and all the ancient teachings. And in my lifetime, I started to see a lot of atrocities happening against girls and women. And my society is completely male dominated right now still. And I saw a lot of injustices happening. So usually in my village, every girls are being forced into marriage at the age of 15, 16, 18. If you are 21, you consider too old to get married. And the whole reason behind it, so if the girls are early marriage, they will have so many babies, and their children will turn into most likely free labor. So when I saw that happening to my own older sister, and she was 12, and she was being arranged into marriage, and she was forced to get married at the age of 16, and she wasn't allowed to go to school, she wasn't able to do anything. I came to understand that I will be next. So I had no role model, I had nobody to look up to. I decided to run away from the village and came to city, Kathmandu. And Kathmandu is a beautiful city, there's a lot of other things that are going on. When I left my village and came to Kathmandu, it put me into a shock, and I got shocked for like 2 months, and I couldn't see outside the world because everything was so different and so hugely different that I didn't know what to do. But I was seeking for freedom and I was seeking for change. But sometime in life when you seek for change, you feel like you're changing, but you may fall into another oppression. And I was falling into another oppression at the age of 9 or 10, working for this massive textile industry, making clothes non-stop, like working 12 to 15 hours a day in this 10 by 10 room with no clean drinking water, with no food, didn't even have a bed, all those clothes that would turn into a bed in the night. And if you would know how much chemicals you have in your clothes, you will never wear them. Because I saw in the first hand how those clothes were like dipped into chemicals, and all those chemicals were discarded into the rivers, and it was killing slowly everything. So at the age of 9 or 10 until 12, I worked in a sweatshop. And now I came to understand that this is a global problem, and there are more than 260 million children are working in the legal sweatshop. Fashion industry is the second most clothing industry in the world. People really don't know what they're buying. And when I came to America and I walked into this major department store, that is when I also realized that where my clothes were getting sold, because they were like same clothes 1,000 times. And in the sweatshop, I was not even allowed to make one whole piece. I was just making one stitch 1,000 times. So I felt like I was a machine. I wasn't like a human being, and my creativity died. So not like how fashion comes and it goes, it has every season. And for us, those sweatshops got operated for 2 years. So what happens is these big factories, they go and they make an agreement with another big factories, and another big factory have maybe a smaller factory, maybe a smaller factory have the tiny factory, and the tiny factory have like a small sweatshop, and small sweatshop have illegal tiny room, and in that illegal tiny room has these undocumented native people being forced into work. So in case if the government caught me, or if I lose my hand, or if I get killed, I will be never able to make a police report. So, and we were like working 12 hours and making less than $2. So, my short shop gets closed in 2 years. I became a straight kid, and I have only two choices. There's a big chance that I end up in sex trafficking or human injustices, or I go back to the village and get married and repeat the same cycle. So I was in the street, and I see all these students going to the school, and I was just comparing my life, like, why can't I have a book? Why can't I have shoes? Where is my parents? Like, all these questions. And as soon as I see the students, it give me a hope. And that makes me feel like, okay, if I can do it, so many others they are going. And then one day, I was thinking about that, and it was a morning time, 6 a.m., and one of the dogs comes and sniffs on me. Maybe I was dirty or something, I don't know. And, and behind this dog is like a really nice, gentle man, and I freak out by seeing this dog. And he tells me, come here, don't be scared. He's like my son, come and pet him. And when he told me come here and pet him, he was the first person in my life ever told me come and pet him. I immediately grabbed his wrist and I asked him only one thing, please can you teach me? And this person for the last 10 years have been teaching me math, science, philosophy, everything that I'm supposed to know as a human being. And I never been to school like how you guys are in. I had like my notebooks and my things and were in my small room. And then slowly when I get educated and when I came to understand the bigger picture, I came to understand that whatever happened to my village, whatever happened to all these people is a huge injustice and it needs to change. So I see a lot of women being homeless and like, begging and like, so much poverty. So I decided to do something about it. I was only like 13 or 14, and I decided to go and seek for a loan. Then the people say me like I'm too young. They returned me, didn't give me the loan. I tried for 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, no loan. I was so determined, and the 6th time, the person gave me the loan for $1,000, and I decided to buy sewing machines and do what I learned in the sweatshop, that skills. I tried to increase it and make it a little bit more beautiful. And instead of selling to the agent, I decided to sell it to the store. And when I did that, it just brought a huge change in my life. And I had more work, and then I thought that how can I train other women? One day I was just walking by, and there was a woman, and she was begging, and I felt like, oh, I don't have money to help everybody, and I don't know how to do it. And there was one woman, her name was Rita, and she caught my attention, and I asked her, like, look, I don't have money, but I have some work, and do you want to come and work with me, and I can teach you? And she said that yes, and she came in, and she started to work with me. I gave her space, and I gave her food, and then me and Rita, we started to work together, and when I saw her potential and her dignity coming out, of learning skills and making sure like we do together and we get successful. She gave me a vision that a lot of us are falling into poverty. It's not because of us, our fault. It's because of the system is not working and it's putting a lot of people in the street. So from then, I decided to work with all these disadvantaged and marginalized women. And Rita gave me a vision to start something very different. And this is what I say to the people, that when you help others, you think that you're helping others. But Rita, when I helped her, she gave me the vision, a big ideas that there is a potential to grow our work. So I started a local women's handicraft when I was around 14 or 15. And I started to take one woman at a time, teach skills, teach whatever I knew, and sell and make money and do things. When we were 6 women, we decided that we don't want to sell to other stores, we want to have our own stores. So we did that, and in 2012, people from all around the world started to come. They started to put our story became international. People from the Forbes, Cosmopolitan, International Amnesty, Huffington Post, they all came and featured our stories. And we became quite popular in the area. So that's my story. So now I have basically 3 brands. One is myself, and myself is I want to bring a movement. And the movement is around female empowerment. And female empowerment is all about women being resilient and reminding everyone that resilient in her is still alive and it's not going to be dead. And whatever, I mean, maybe Kathleen will help me explain that movement better because I have been working with her a lot. So that's my brand, and bringing that message and asking people like, who made your clothes? Where your clothes come from? Because I say to people, like, if you don't know where your clothes coming from, maybe you are wearing someone else's suffering. Because when I was working in the sweatshop, I had nobody to talk to, so I was talking to that shirt, and I was saying that whoever is going to wear these clothes, I hope they can feel my blood. I hope they can feel my tears. I hope they can feel me this. Like, they're not going to feel good when they will wear it because I was so heavily abused. So I feel like that type of suffering we pass on to one another, and we don't even know. And it's like we're supporting suffering unconsciously. So how can we bring that connection? Like, if we tell people in America, like, you know, like, when all of you, like, do any of you know today the clothes that you are wearing, who made it for you? Probably not. Like, we're so disconnected. So that disconnection gives our power to the suffering. So I want to bring that message up. And then Local Women's Handicraft is a model for creating a platform for all these marginalized and disadvantaged women to not be a part of working for other people. They need to own their own business, and they need to run on their own business. So far I have trained, and our organization, Local Women's Handicrafts, have trained more than hundreds of women. And